Okay, so should we start?
Yes.
All right. Welcome to SiNIX Electro, and today we were going to do some presentation about us, and I finally had the chance to talk a little bit about wireless charging.
Yeah, Johan, we can talk about wireless charging later. Maybe introduce SiNIX first?
All right. We go for that.
Anyway, he always wants to talk about wireless charging.
I know.
Anyway, a very warm welcome to This is SiNIX Lunch Talk. Today we will be talking about SiNIX Electro. And as you have seen from our social media post, SiNIX Electro is a company under SiNIX Group that is mainly focusing on e-mobility and electrification. You know, Johan, every time I think of something new, I always wonder, why are we doing it? You know, what's the purpose? That's something that's very important to me. There's also a very famous quote by Viktor Frankl, which I love. It goes like, if you know your why, then you can figure out almost any how. So I was wondering, what is the purpose behind SiNIX Electro, since you're the visionary behind SiNIX Electro?
Yeah, it's a good question. First of all, I love everything around electrification. I think it's all the possibilities with it, of course. And I've also been involved in the way when you're from it, when it was something nice to have and moved over to something is must have, what it's like right now. And I think the important thing is that you to manage this one, you need to make sure that you're surrounded with people that is passionate about this one, believe in this one, and if you do that, it'll be fine. So I wanted to gather a team, a group that really have the experience and believe in this electrification part. And if we get them and work together, then we can do this transformation from fossil-free transportation. So that is the reason. Yeah.
Well, that's such a grounded and realistic reason, I must say. And I think one thing that you said very rightly was it's high time that we accept that this is happening, you know, the change is happening. And also we see that the landscape in e-mobility right now is changing at such a rapid pace, right? Yeah. And in such changing times, I think it's very wise to say that, you know, you want to be surrounded by people with common goal who care for each other. And also, as we are changing so quickly, we can also see that a lot of technologies within e-mobility right now are in such a nascent stage but are growing very rapidly. And it's very important that not just us inside SiNIX Electro join hands, but also we join hands with the OEMs that are spearheading this transformation. So that we work on more technologies and more niche technologies, you know, to be specific. You know, like what Bjorn is doing with EMC and power electronics, what Gabriel is doing with wireless charging. You are working with concept development for charging systems. So I think it's really good that we have such a broad and distributed experience chart. But you know, there's something that always nags me is that I'm really happy with what I am doing, system designing, and there are times that I wonder if I want to also work with energy storage system, also want to work with wireless charging, you know, because there are so many fields. So what's your strategy? How do you think we should focus our energy on?
Yeah, it's a good question, because it's, you know, it's we want to be everywhere, and I'm the same. I want to be part of everything around electrification. I know that as well, but I see that it's like a private side. You have a lot of things you want to do, things that you want to do. You want to do things with your family. You want to do biking. You want to be golfing or whatever. It's a lot of things, and you have to prioritize. And I see that it's the same thing here. I mean, I think we should focus, and I want us to focus on the things that is closest to the heart, what we believe in. And if you're doing that, it will be right. So I think back to the prioritize and say you should do that comes by the heart, and then it will be good, because then we influence other things on other people around it. So
okay, so if I understand you correctly, then what you mean is that try to find something that you're good at and that you're passionate about and run towards it, and at the same time you're doing that, try to gather more people and more, I think importantly, major, like bigger players in the industry, so that you have a much higher ground to stand on, right? And also I think I actually believe that if we follow that strategy, then I think we will have a much stronger and higher ground to make influence, and also to influence the policies that are being made by the OEMs and automakers.
And then I'm not sure if everyone agree. I mean, in this one, I maybe have a little more. I like everything around charging a little bit more. You know that, because I think it's important, and I'm not sure if people agree about this as well. That of some reason we as an engineer, when we're working, we tend to focus a lot on efficiency, power, cost, and things like that. And I think in this one, if we should succeed, especially regarding charging, it should focus a little bit more about convenient way of charging. Because if we're doing that, and for the end user, it will be smoother transformation for them, and I think it will be less focus on efficiency and power if we get that right.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, because I do think that sometimes the energy is so much focused on the vehicle and the technology of the vehicle that we don't see what is it that needs to be in place to make it easier to use that vehicle, you know? And once I came across a person who said, when you're developing a product and you want people to use that product, the only way that you're going to actually convince people to use it is to make it easier for them to use something, right? And I think if we want people to use electric vehicles, then we also have to work on the infrastructure, so it's easier to charge, easier to go on road trips for, right? Yes. So I completely agree with that one.
Yeah. I was just thinking a bit timing it, but you need to tell me also, why did you join into SiNIX Electro?
Yeah, well, I didn't have a choice, to be honest.
I wanted, the thing is, I really wanted Pooja to join, so I did everything I can to do that.
No, but I'm kidding. I did have a choice, and usually when I'm making career decisions, I base it on 3 values. It's purpose, people, and recognition. And when it comes to purpose, I think the purpose that you mentioned for SiNIX Electro and what I had for myself of why I want to be in electromobility was very aligned. So I didn't have to worry about that. And when it comes to people, I think the study actually proves that 50% of people either join or leave a company based on who they work with. So I think it's very important to surround yourself with right kind of people. And when I met you and Martin and Patrick, I was blown away of how you were willing to have these open, honest conversations, and you were very vulnerable with your personal experiences, right? And that means a lot to me, because that's something that you don't see in leadership anymore, you know? Everyone just wants to give you results, but for me it's very important to see that vulnerability in a leader. And I saw that in all of you, so that was very comforting for me. And also, I think as engineers, we are so focused on technology, we don't give the monetary recognition the importance it deserves sometimes. And I think that's also something that at SiNIX was very different, because the structure that we have here, it's so transparent, because at any given time, I know how much I'm making, where I want to invest it, what I want to do with my vacations, and the agency that gives me to make decisions for myself and what I want to do with my savings. That is liberating. And I think it was a combination of all of that actually made me choose.
Yeah, that's good. It's nice. I was just thinking now, can we talk a little bit about wireless charging now?
Oh my God, it's wireless charging again.
But I love it. I know I shouldn't.
Yes, but how about we take some questions and see if there are any questions on wireless charging? Yeah. Maybe that can, it'll be a win-win.
Yeah, that's good. I know. If it was me, I think right now I see that OEM side, they focus a lot on OEMs, the car or the truck, and then you have the infrastructure side, they focus on their part, and you have the gray zone between, and I think that is something that it needs to work much better together. That I think that is one of the challenge. If you get that seamless between it, it will be good.
Definitely. And I think one challenge that I see is actually the mindset of people who use electric vehicles, because we usually have this mindset of we want everything to be quick and fast, and the transition to e-mobility is going to be bumpy, believe it or not. It is going to be. So I think to have that mindset that it's going to be bumpy, but we are doing something for a greater cause.
Yeah. You mean we need to be prepared to do trade-offs actually for things, but it also a lot of possibilities.
Yes.
Right?
I actually get that question so many times, and I'm taking it already. So I am the only female in the team in SiNIX Electro right now.
So far,
Yeah, so far. But I don't think that is how it's going to be. And also, as we have been discussing, e-mobility is such a niche field, and it's very important to have different perspectives. So for me, when we talk about more female in the team, it's not about just the gender being 50-50. No, I don't think we'll be doing anyone good. Not the field, not the technology, not for ourselves. But rather, I think the reason I want to have more females is to have more perspective, to have a more neutral way of building products, right? Like how it was with the iPhone apps. Have you heard? So the health app that came out from iPhone had everything. Like it could also tell you how much calcium you were taking every day.
Right.
But the only thing that was missing from that app is actually to how to track your menstrual cycle.
Right.
And the reason why that was missing is because the people who developed that app were 5 male people. Right? So what that shows us is that the lack of perspective, right? And that's what I'm aiming for as well, to bring in people who have a different perspective than we do, so that we can grow as a team. And also when it comes to how we plan to go there and reach that is by doing, so I'm part of Women in Tech, where I'm the co-founder and Chief Projects Officer, and there we have actually come up with so many ways of how to get more women into tech, and how, most importantly, to get women to stay in tech and not drop out. So we have created like a code of conduct that we send to Unionen and then to workplaces, that help the atmosphere to be tailored so that men and women get to stay and are feeling very secure.
First of all, I think all that wants to be a part of this transformation is a key player. And I mean, right now also in the West area here in around Gothenburg, it's great because we have a lot of very good manufacturer OEMs. I mean that wants to do this and want to be a part of this one. But I think it's also a key player. Like I said earlier, that to make this, we need also have the infrastructure side together with the OEMs and get that working. So I think I see Gothenburg City as a key player as well, because they are focused on the green city and want to do good, and I think they are doing. I'm happy that they're doing, because then they are showing the way forward.
Yeah.
Yes, we can always learn. Everyone can learn from each other, but I think one thing is that I wish that we could learn in this business is to have a little bit put the focus on the customer and see how to say that the whole way. I mean, in other industries they have a product and there's connections to it, and they focus on the customer. And I think this is something we should learn. I mean, when the customer is using this vehicle or whatever, and they charge, it should work seamless, and that is something we can learn from other businesses, I guess.
Yeah, so I see that as well. Like when you buy a phone, you get this huge extensive user manual of how to use it, right? But I don't think it's the same with electric vehicle. Like you buy your vehicle and then you have to go to an energy provider to see who can do that. So it's a lot of puzzles, and you have no clue which puzzle to look at.
What charger should I use?
Exactly.
How do I do? And that scares a little bit off, and I think that's important. I think that is something we need to learn to do better.
Yeah.
And then there's
Yeah, and that is also, I mean, it's quite new. For other areas, this everything around power electronics has been for many years. And in this case, when it's a challenge if you're using a product. It's much easier to understand how I should design it or how I should do it. If I never use it, think about it, just developing a mobile phone and I'm not using that. So of course it is a challenge, and I think it needs to take time, and we need to accept that it will take a little bit of time. Have patience, and we will work with this one. And like I said always, I think the second buyer or second time a person buy an electric car, it will focus a little bit more. On the other hand, it will probably be more comfortable that it will do the work.
Yeah.
Good, and it's like Pooja was saying there. I mean, it's not about. I think the most important that you believe in the electrification and you want to be a part of this transformation, because if you have that, and it will be good. That is the most important. We want to have people that is passionate about this one and believe that this is the way forward. And then of course it will be great to have those people in a team.
And also from what we talked about, that we just don't want to focus on the technology of the vehicle, but also technology of the infrastructure, right? And we often hear this, that electric vehicle is just a coal-powered vehicle, and is it really going to help with the emissions, right? And in that case, we have been talking a little bit about microgrids, and the usage of how using microgrids is the more ethical way of developing energy and on a small scale basis. So I think it would be great to stretch our wings in those areas as well.
And I think it's a must as well.
That's a big one.
But I hope that people will say within 2 years that they're very pleased with what we are doing. That we actually within SiNIX Electro have put our mark that make this transformation work much better. That I hope within 2 years. But you had more questions into that one, and additional to that one, if I remember right.
Yeah. What is our strength in SiNIX Electro?
Yeah, the strength is that we have experienced people that have been from the beginning.
Yeah.
And we have also the people that is within us together. They are very passionate about this. They really believe in this one. So we will have the people that will do everything by heart in this one.
And also one strength that I see every day is the willingness to help people, because when I sit down with my colleague who has been working in a particular field for 30 years, and I've been there for like maybe 2 years, and I ask him so many stupid questions, but not once till today has he made me feel like I just have 2 years of experience, So every day I go to him with so many questions, and I come back feeling more inspired of how much he knows and how humble he is. And that's something that I've seen in the whole of SiNIX, that everyone is so good at what they do, but also they are very humble and down to earth.
So thank you very much.
Thank you. We really hope you enjoyed the talk, by the way.